Cigarettes. We've all seen them, smelled them, or maybe even smoked them. But where did these little sticks of trouble come from? The story begins long ago. Tobacco, the plant that gives us cigarettes, is native to the Americas. Indigenous cultures used it for centuries, but not quite like we do. They smoked it in pipes for rituals and medicinal purposes. Fast forward to the 16th century. European explorers brought tobacco back with them. By the 19th century, cigarettes, as we know them, were born. Their popularity exploded thanks to mass production and clever marketing. What was once seen as cool and sophisticated is now recognized for what it is: a global health crisis. Smoking is one of the leading preventable causes of death worldwide. It's responsible for millions of deaths each year. The World Health Organization calls it a tobacco epidemic. Smoking damages nearly every organ in the body. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, and a host of other cancers. Secondhand smoke, the smoke non-smokers breathe in, is also deadly. Think of your body as a well-oiled machine. Each organ plays a vital role. Now imagine throwing sand into that machine. That's what smoking does to your body. The harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke enter your bloodstream and travel everywhere. Your lungs, being the first point of contact, take the biggest hit. The tar in cigarettes coats your lungs, making it harder to breathe. This leads to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Emphysema, a type of COPD, destroys the air sacs in your lungs, leaving you gasping for air. Nicotine raises your blood pressure and heart rate, leading to heart attacks and strokes. Smoking doesn't just affect your heart and lungs, it impacts your entire body. The chemicals in cigarettes weaken your immune system, making you more susceptible to infections. They also damage your blood vessels, restricting blood flow and increasing the risk of blood clots. This can lead to peripheral artery disease, or PAD, a condition that affects blood flow to your limbs. Imagine not being able to walk long distances without pain in your legs. Smoking also takes a toll on your appearance, causing wrinkles and a dull complexion. It stains your teeth and fingers, leaving a telltale sign of your habit. Smoking increases the risk of osteoporosis, making your bones weak and brittle. The health risks of smoking extend far beyond the smoker. Secondhand smoke, the smoke exhaled by smokers and released from burning cigarettes, is a serious health hazard. It contains over 7,000 chemicals, including hundreds that are toxic and dozens that are known to cause cancer. Children are especially vulnerable to the effects of secondhand smoke. Their lungs are still developing, and exposure to secondhand smoke can lead to asthma, ear infections, and respiratory illnesses. Infants exposed to secondhand smoke are at an increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. Adults exposed to secondhand smoke are at risk of lung cancer, heart disease, and stroke. Many countries have implemented smoke-free laws to protect non-smokers. We've talked about the horrifying health risks of smoking. So why do people still light up? The answer, my friends, is addiction. Nicotine, the addictive drug in cigarettes, is a powerful force. It hooks smokers and keeps them coming back for more, even when they know it's killing them. Nicotine enters your bloodstream with each puff and travels to your brain in seconds. There, it triggers the release of dopamine, a feel-good chemical. This dopamine rush is what smokers crave. But here's the catch: the effects of nicotine are fleeting. Nicotine addiction is a chronic, relapsing disease. The brain becomes accustomed to the presence of nicotine. When you try to quit, your brain goes haywire. Withdrawal symptoms can be intense, making it hard to focus on anything else but getting your next fix. Some people experience mild symptoms, while others have severe reactions that can last for weeks or even months. This is why quitting smoking is so challenging. It's not simply a matter of willpower. It's about breaking free from a powerful chemical dependence. But don't despair. Millions of people have successfully quit smoking, and so can you. Quitting smoking is a journey, not a destination. It's a process that takes time, effort, and a whole lot of willpower. But the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine waking up every day without that hacking cough. Picture yourself being able to run and play with your kids without getting winded. Quitting smoking is the single best thing you can do for your health. It lowers your risk of heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, and a host of other cancers. It improves your lung function, circulation, and overall well-being. Let's clear the air about some common myths surrounding smoking. One persistent myth is that light cigarettes are less harmful. Don't be fooled by the marketing ploys of big tobacco. Light cigarettes are not a safe alternative. They contain the same toxic chemicals as regular cigarettes, just in slightly different amounts. Smokers often compensate for the lower nicotine levels in light cigarettes by inhaling more deeply or smoking more frequently. This negates any potential reduction in harm. It's like switching from regular soda to diet soda and then drinking twice as much. You're still consuming artificial sweeteners and exposing yourself to potential health risks. The truth is, there's no such thing as a safe cigarette. Any amount of smoking is harmful to your health. Another myth is that smoking relaxes you. Some smokers believe that cigarette filters effectively trap harmful chemicals, making smoking less risky. Let's debunk this myth right now. Filters do remove some tar and nicotine, but they don't eliminate them entirely. Many harmful chemicals still pass through the filter and into your lungs. Moreover, the act of smoking itself, regardless of the filter, damages your lungs and airways. The heat from the burning cigarette irritates your respiratory system, and the smoke you inhale contains a toxic cocktail of chemicals. Think of it like this. Wearing a thin surgical mask during a pandemic doesn't make you immune to viruses. Similarly, a cigarette filter doesn't make smoking safe. It's a false sense of security. I only smoke occasionally. I'm not a real smoker. Sound familiar? This is another dangerous myth that downplays the risks of smoking. There's no safe level of cigarette smoke exposure. Even occasional smoking can have serious health consequences. Each cigarette you smoke introduces thousands of chemicals into your body, damaging your cells and increasing your risk of developing smoking-related diseases. It's like playing Russian roulette with your health. You might get away with it for a while, but eventually your luck will run out. Another misconception is that vaping is a safe alternative to smoking. Smoking isn't just bad for your health, it's bad for your wallet too. The financial burden of smoking is staggering. Think about it. A pack of cigarettes costs a pretty penny these days. Now, multiply that by the number of packs a smoker goes through in a week, a month, a year. It adds up fast. We're talking about thousands of dollars a year, money that could be spent on things like rent, food, education, or, enjoying life without a hacking cough. Smokers often face higher insurance premiums, both for health and life insurance. Then there are the healthcare costs associated with treating smoking-related illnesses. These costs don't just affect smokers, they impact everyone through higher taxes and healthcare premiums. Beyond the economic costs, smoking also takes a toll on our social fabric. Think about the social stigma associated with smoking. In many cultures, smoking is increasingly viewed as a dirty, unhealthy habit. Smokers are often ostracized or excluded from social gatherings, forced to stand outside in the cold to light up. This can lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Smoking also impacts relationships. Secondhand smoke exposure is a major source of conflict, especially in households with children. The good news is that the tide is turning. Awareness of the dangers of smoking is higher than ever before. Governments around the world are implementing policies to curb smoking rates, such as increased taxes on tobacco products, smoke-free laws, and graphic warning labels on cigarette packs. These measures, while sometimes controversial, are having a positive impact. Smoking rates are declining, particularly in developed countries. But there's still much work to be done. Tobacco companies continue to target young people, particularly in developing nations, where regulations may be less stringent. We need to counter their deceptive marketing tactics and educate young people about the real cost of smoking. Imagine a world without cigarettes. Remember when smoking was cool? Yeah, me neither. The world is finally waking up to the dangers of lighting up. Over the past few decades, we've seen a dramatic shift in smoking trends, particularly in developed countries. Fewer people are taking up smoking and more smokers are quitting, thanks in part to increased awareness of the health risks, stricter regulations, and higher cigarette prices. However, don't break out the confetti just yet. While overall smoking rates are declining, certain demographics continue to light up at alarming rates. Young adults, low-income communities, and certain ethnic groups are disproportionately affected by smoking. We need to shine a light on these disparities and ensure that everyone has access to the resources and support they need to quit. Governments around the world are finally stepping up to the plate, implementing policies to curb smoking rates and protect their citizens from the harms of tobacco. These policies range from increased taxes on cigarettes to smoke-free laws to graphic warning labels on cigarette packs. Remember those gruesome images of diseased lungs and rotting teeth on cigarette packs? Yeah, those are there for a reason. They're designed to shock smokers into reality, reminding them of the grim consequences of their habit. And guess what? They're working. Studies have shown that graphic warning labels are effective in discouraging smoking, particularly among young people. It's like that old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The fight against big tobacco is far from over. These companies are masters of disguise, constantly evolving their tactics to hook new generations of smokers. One of their latest tricks is the rise of electronic cigarettes, or e-cigarettes. Marketed as a safer alternative to traditional cigarettes, e-cigarettes have exploded in popularity, particularly among young people. But don't be fooled by the sleek designs and fruity flavors. E-cigarettes still contain nicotine, the highly addictive substance that keeps smokers coming back for more. Moreover, the long-term health effects of e-cigarettes are still largely unknown. We need more research, stricter regulations, and responsible marketing practices to ensure that e-cigarettes don't become a gateway to a new generation of nicotine addiction. Quitting smoking is tough. It's like trying to break up with your favorite brand of donuts. But trust me, it's the best breakup you'll ever have. The good news is, you don't have to go cold turkey. There's a whole arsenal of weapons you can use to fight this battle. First off, talk to your doctor. They can recommend nicotine replacement therapy, NRT, like patches, gum, or lozenges. Don't be afraid to ask for help, it's out there. Section 2. Breathe easy again. Remember, quitting smoking is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be hurdles along the way. Cravings, triggers, maybe even a donut or two. But with each hurdle you overcome, you're one step closer to the finish line. Surround yourself with a support system. Tell your friends and family you're quitting. They'll be your cheerleaders along the way. Consider joining a support group or an online forum where you can connect with others going through the same thing. You're not alone in this fight. And here's a little secret weapon. Find healthy ways to cope with stress. Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, these are all great ways to de-stress without lighting up. Remember, you've got this. Every cigarette you don't smoke is a victory. So take a deep breath, dig in your heels, and kick that nasty habit to the curb. Your body, your mind, and your future self will thank you for it. And trust me, that's a reward worth fighting for.